In this PsyQuiz video, we share 9 ways to tell if someone is secretly depressed. How do you tell if someone you love is secretly depressed? It is common for depressed people to mask their feelings. They keep a smiling face to appear normal but are overwhelmed on the inside. This is usually an attempt to not appear weak, or be a burden to those around them. That said, it might be impossible to know if a person is secretly depressed, except you know the person well enough. In this age, with the subtle pressure of having everything in one's life in order, to appear as happy as always, and be always on top of the world, you would find that people get overwhelmed and fake their smiles just to get by. They don't feel comfortable enough and so they hide the symptoms they have. Symptoms such as fatigue, anxiety, hopelessness, changes in sleep pattern, sleep disturbance, etc. And they try to convince everyone else that all is fine with them. In this video, we'll look at 9 signs that you can use to tell if someone you know is secretly depressed. Number 1. Do they become excessively emotional, especially at the oddest of times? A secretly depressed person will regularly feel a higher amount of emotional stress than expected, due to the number of emotions they suppress inside. This would always lead to outbursts of emotions at things they'd normally ignore. This can be unusual, especially when the individual having this outburst is cool, quiet, and gathered on a good day. This can make them unpredictable, as you don't know what to expect when they get overpowered with what they feel. They can go from loving and caring, to easily angered, and irritated, and would tend to snap at everybody over an issue that can be overlooked. Number 2. Do they always want to look and act cheerful? People who are depressed and trying to keep it a secret will do everything within their power to come off as happy and fulfilled. You'd be left to assume that everything is perfect with them. Even when you know that something is wrong, and you ask them, they'd usually deny it and keep to their smiling face. A mask they wear so as not to appear weak and vulnerable. Sadly, no one can keep up with such, and they'd mostly bring their guards down when they feel that no one is watching. Number 3. How good have they become with creating cover stories? They can think of credible and well thought out reasons for their predicament. I am just tired, my work is not giving me the time to rest, etc. Also, they'd always have reasons for missing appointments with you or for not returning your calls. And in cases when you discuss their emotional unavailability, they are quick to change the subject and dismiss your inquiry. Number 4. Did they become more philosophical? Another little-known indication of a secretly depressed person is the point at which such an individual out of nowhere becomes interested in topics such as the reason for one's existence and the purpose of life. Such a person who used to be accommodating and carefree now becomes negative and critical, maybe because of the battle they fight on the inside, battles they might be ashamed or too scared to share with others. They might embrace a more cynical point of view about things, and also, become more negative than you know them to be. To them, after all, what is there to live for? Number 5. Are they workaholics, and obsessed with accomplishments? Being depressed would deny anyone of their capacity to really enjoy life, and secret depression is no different. Individuals who battle with this, however, might attempt to cover it by regularly hurling themselves entirely into their work. This they do to make more sense of their lives and sort of put an end to their suffering. They use activities and accomplishments to distract themselves from any inner insecurities or fears that might try to seep out of hiding. So they work enthusiastically and commit themselves to be the best in whatever field they are into. With this workaholic behavior, they can get some relief from their downturn and temporarily relieve themselves from all the antagonism they feel. Number 6. Did their eating and drinking habits change? People tackle depression differently, and when it comes to food, one person's response might be different from another. Some might lose interest in eating, while for some, food becomes what comforts them. If you notice changes in the eating habit of the person, such a person might be depressed. You might also notice they lost or gained a drastic amount of weight, especially if it is due to an abrupt change in their dietary pattern. In the case of drinking, you'd find that some people might become alcoholics as a means to gain relief from depression. Sadly, it will become a circle of depression and a temporary high that never ends except they become sober. Number 7. Did they lose interest in things they used to enjoy? People with depression tend to lose interest in stuff they used to love. They just forsake those leisure activities or causes that once made a difference to them. These secretly depressed people might totally abandon things that were once vital to them. And even when they take part in the activity, they don't do it with the same enthusiasm they used to have. Number 8. Any changes in their social behaviors? Someone who is trying to hide being depressed might suddenly choose to become the life of the party. And if you really know the person, that might come off as odd, especially if the person was never one to be the life of the party. In another scenario, the person might begin to avoid social gatherings, with ceaseless excuses for why they can't be with their friends and family. These can be signs that they are secretly depressed. Number 9. Do they have a challenge expressing painful emotions? Do they avoid showing anger or deny being angry altogether? People who hide being depressed might try to keep their disappointment and sadness to themselves, and most times not have the words to express the emotions they feel. Different people will show different symptoms when depressed, but due to a number of reasons, most will hide this struggle. The fear of appearing weak, and being judged as one who doesn't have a grip on their lives, are among many of the reasons. If you know someone who is secretly depressed, connect with them. Show them you care, and that they can talk to you. Also, get them professional help. Focus on these signs and you very well could save their life. Have you found this video helpful? If you have, drop a comment on your thought, and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.